I'm Abigail Posner. I work for Google as a tech executive, but I also have a few side hustles too. I love to speak about leadership and innovation and creativity, and of course, the intersection of culture, humanity, and technology. Digital isn't just human enough. It actually amplifies human experience, allowing us to tap and assert and unleash deep-seated human needs and desires and aspirations, in some cases like never before. We have to dig deeper. We have to ask why. Why are they doing what they're doing? Why are they so enamored with their phones or with our YouTube videos or with our pictures is actually really meaningful and beautiful. I feel like I've got to make some imprint in this world, and I want to do it uniquely, and I want to be able to share that enthusiasm that I have for all these different aspects of my life with others.
I'm here today with Abigail Posner, one of the most genius leaders of the world, and I would say of our times. She's a fantastic keynote speaker, an influencer, an innovator, a creator, but the most important thing, she is a wonderful human being and mother. Thank you so much, Abigail, for giving me the opportunity, the pleasure to interview.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me.
There are many different topics that we can discuss, but one of the questions that I have for you, Abigail, is if you let us know about leadership today. Sure. And the importance of leadership in our times and for the future.
Yes. Well, the first thing I want to say is that everyone can be a leader, and there are many different ways of being a leader. I think some people, when they think of leadership, they think of a governmental leader, like a president, or they think of a business leader, like a CEO. But everybody has the capability to lead, and everybody has the capability to follow. So in some cases, you will have leaders in your lives that you follow, and in some cases you will lead and they will follow you. And that is the natural kind of process for all human beings. And then there are going to be some points in your life where you will lead and some points in your life where you follow. And I see it in all relationships, and I see it in all types of organizations, and that's perfectly okay. And so to be a great leader doesn't necessarily mean you have to have 3 PhDs, or you have to be a certain age, or you have to have a certain amount of money. It means that you are passionate about something and that you can galvanize people around you to follow that passion and really work hard to achieve the goals that you together want to achieve. And so, I see it with my husband and my family, like he leads in certain ways and I follow, or I see it in the company that I work in, where in some cases I will lead a team towards a certain direction, and in some cases the people who report to me actually lead a process and I follow them. So my point is that leadership is obviously key to ensure that our community of communities grows and progresses and is productive and is leads meaningful lives. But everybody can contribute to that, and everybody should contribute to that and be a leader in his or her own way.
Trying to take advantage of the opportunity of sharing and giving your best to the others, because I think that if you can expose your positive talent, you're giving a huge legacy for our society today. Do you agree with that?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, everybody has, I know this sounds kind of trite, or you read it in the self-help books, but it's true. Everybody does have a special talent, a special skill, and to be able to find that and use that to help you be the leader that you want to be, I think is so important. So for example, if you have a special talent or skill when it comes to being a performer, okay, maybe you work you have a regular job, but you're a really good performer. Okay, so because maybe you acted in plays, or you like to do stand-up comedy on the weekends, you can harness that performance skill in so many other worlds that you're in and use that to help you lead. So maybe you can become a really good public speaker, for example. And so you can represent your team to your internal stakeholders or to your clients or to your community to ensure that others know the benefits of your team or know what you've produced as a team. So my point is that everybody can lead and leverage those skills or those talents that they may think are either not that important, but actually are if you reframe them, or they can take those talents that they may think have nothing to do with the areas in which they want to lead, but actually can be, if you rethink them and reuse them in a different way, could be quite helpful. So for example, I just gave a speech a couple of weeks ago in Florida, in your home state, and the speech was all about what I call the expansiveness edge. And the idea here is that if you really want to be creative and innovative, you have to have ideas. But where do those ideas come from? Now, ideas at their root, like if you decode what creativity is all about, it's about putting together unlike notions or concepts to come up with a new idea, like fusion cuisine, right? You get a flavor or a spice from one cuisine from across the world, and you connect it with a flavor and spice from another cuisine, and somehow the combination is so good, and you've got something like Cuban Chinese food, right? That's the essence of creativity. So imagine if you took your different sides that everybody has, right? You mentioned it about me. I'm a mother, I'm a speaker, I'm a businesswoman. You take all these different sides and you connect them to the challenge you have in front of you. It could be a business challenge, it could be a community challenge, it could be a family challenge, and you can come up with a new solution because you tap these different sides of yourself. And that's what I call the expansiveness edge. So an example from my life, I have many examples, which is why I came up with this concept, because it was a survival skill. I came to Google. I had just been in advertising for many, many years, and I came to Google and I really didn't know a lot about technology or sales. And I was in the sales side of the technology company. And I thought, how am I going to survive? They're going to fire me. This was such a mistake, right? And I'm sure we all felt that way. But what I realized after spending a bit of time inside the company and with my clients is that while I may not know a lot about technology, I knew a ton about anthropology because that's what I studied in college. That was my major. Now you think, what in the world, who cares if you know anthropology? Well, it did matter. Because when people think of anthropology, they think, oh, you're studying some culture in the middle of nowhere and you're looking at their funny dance moves. No. The essence of anthropology is understanding why people do what we do, no matter where we come from, why we eat what we eat or drink what we drink or wear what we wear, right? So inside Google, what I saw, and in the industry at large, quite frankly, what I saw is that we had a lot of data on what people were doing with technology, how much time they were on their phone, or what were the most watched crazy videos they watched on YouTube, or how many clicks it took to get to a sale. But nobody was trying to understand why we were doing this.
Okay.
Why were we watching these crazy videos on YouTube? Are we just stupid? Why were we spending so much time on our phones? See, I felt if we could understand not just what people were doing, but why they were doing it, then we would know how to help our clients create content or new experiences or new technologies for the digital space. I basically combined something seemingly totally unrelated, which was my anthropology background, my skill set from college, with the world I had in front of me. And from that, I created a new concept called humanizing digital, where we put anthropologists into the field to understand why we have the nature, the deep relationship we have with these technologies. And so my point there is that everybody has different sides of ourselves that we think could be unrelated, but actually you can make the connection. And once you do that, you come up with an idea that only you could come up with, and then you lead in that space.
Wow. One thing that I noticed is that you mentioned three very important words: family, companies, and innovation. Considering these topics, do you think that they can help to build a healthy family, a healthy society for our future times?
There are two types or three types of people. There are
Uh-huh.
people who are very good at coming up with ideas, but they're not very good with implementation. Then there are people who are very good at implementation, but they're not necessarily so good with coming up with ideas. And then there are people who come up with ideas and know how to implement. And I think sometimes we give way more credit to the people who come up with ideas than we do to the people who implement. And you have to have both, right? You have to be able to, if you come up with an idea, make it usable, make it real, make it sustainable. So yes, you have in order for an idea to be important, in order for an idea to actually have any value, it has to be implemented. It has to be turned into something that people can understand and can use for a while, that it is sustainable, to use your word. So there were a lot of words in there, and that's why I was forcing you to pick one, because all of them are so rich, right? So I'm a big believer in innovation, and usually I speak about that. But what I don't speak about as much, and I should, is how to implement it, because I'm probably not as good as at the implementation part, but I'm trying to be better, because just because you make a nice new product, if no one buys it, it's not nice. It has to be something that people can understand and leverage in their own way. And that's the beauty of technology. Coming full circle to the conversation we just had, one of the things that struck me in all of this anthropology work we did around technology is that not only is technology so cool, and it's amazing that someone innovated something, like put a little computer in your hand.
Right.
But what's even cooler is what people do with that technology. So not only is it user-friendly, so they know how to use it for what it was supposed to be used for what it was intended to be used for, but then when people can actually take it and reinvent it in their own way to make their lives that much better, then that's real implementation. It's like people not only adopt what you're trying to offer them, but then they use it and reinvent it to make it even more powerful in their lives. That's the ultimate of implementation.
Getting the know-how to probably use this implementation and innovation to be a better person, executive, professional, and communicator.
Well, and yes, but even better, how to make it something that is more than it even intended to be. Right? That's when you really have something amazing, right? When you have something that not only is sustainable, but the implication of sustainability is that it reinvents just as human beings reinvent, right? You have a growth season every year, and how plants grow and how trees grow are not going to necessarily be exactly the same year after year. There's evolution that happens with every cycle. So sustainability doesn't just mean, okay, it's around for longer, but it's that it can regrow and be better and better and better with each cycle. So if you can innovate something that not only people can understand and people take into their lives, but then use it to help them regrow and build upon it, even better.
Based on your experience, what do you think that Google is expecting from executives to achieve in order to provide a legacy for families?
So many things, but I would say the one word that keeps hitting home to me is inspiration. That we have a duty to inspire our teams, our clients, and our world in the possibilities, right? You can't hit someone over the head and say, do this more, make this more, use this more, spend this more.
That is true.
You'll just beat them dead, and then they can't spend, and they can't use, and they can't, build any faster anymore. So how do you inspire your teams? How do you inspire your clients? How do you inspire the world to want to play along with, this game that we're that we're all a part of to make the world a better place.
Do you think that this world is just only a place, or is that something that makes us probably dream in the future and beyond?
I hope, I don't know, I don't have scientific knowledge, but I hope that we all are thinking about the future, and we all want to make the future a better place. I do believe it is part of the human psyche to do that. And if you look over the hundreds and hundreds and thousands and thousands and thousands of years of human existence, we do progress.
Of course.
Right? And we wouldn't progress, we wouldn't have the inclination to progress if we didn't hope and we didn't dream for a better future. So I don't know the neuroscience of it, but I do believe it is in our makeup as human beings to want to create a better future. Do I think everybody feels that way? I think that there's some people who have had bad lives and don't think that way. But for the most part, I do think so. We just have to be given the belief in ourselves that we can make that happen. The belief, back to the beginning of your questions, that we can all lead. Because we all do want to lead in some way. And follow leaders who we believe in too.
Like you, leaders like you, innovators like you, creators like you, that are good testimonies that every single dream in our lives is possible. Before we finish this excellent and beautiful and interesting conversation and interview, my dear Abigail, can you leave a message for those executives, for those followers, for those dreamers that are listening to you right now, in order to help them to think about the new year? What would you like to leave them as a message?
Right. Well, everybody is creative, and everybody is innovative, and everybody has the capacity, if they look within themselves, to find something that they can create and lead with. I truly believe that. And I think if you tap those different sides of yourself, if you embrace this expansiveness and find that expansiveness edge in you, you will find a way to offer the world a new idea and bring along people with you. So I encourage all of us to recognize that there is a leader and a creative person inside all of us, and we just have to sometimes look inside to find those connections and lead us all into the future.
Wake up and do it, right?
Yes. As I said, you're right. Ideas mean nothing if you don't implement them. Absolutely.
Okay, Abigail, thank you so much for your time. I hope this is not going to be the last time that we can be able to speak. I'm going to continue following you through LinkedIn, taking advantage of your great performances and speeches. And of course, in the near future, I'm going to be contacting you to ask you to continue giving us your support, your help, and your guidance on all these topics, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Abigail, and bless you. Have a beautiful Christmas and blessings for all your family, okay?
Thank you so much. You too.
Bye. Thank you.